Welcome back to A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha Haar here from Semantics Podcast.
Hey.
And this is a big deal, and this is coming together extremely quickly and really, really cool, though. This next guest, super duper mega famous comedian, going to be in Jacksonville on November 16th at the Florida Theater and at our beautiful Hard Rock Live Orlando November 15th. And on the line with us right now, and thanks to Billy for setting this up, is Miss Whitney Cummings. How you doing?
Thanks, Billy. It was kind of weird that he reached out over Hinge, but
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Billy's so crazy. Hey, thank you so much for the time. We we really do appreciate it. We know that you have a child, so we don't want to take any time away.
No, thank you so much for giving me an excuse to not parent.
Exactly. It's so difficult.
As long as interview as you want. Let's go.
You got it.
So, Whitney, tell us about Fast Friends, because I was reading the description and then I was like, I can't wait to watch this.
It looks good.
And so tell us about it.
Okay. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, I mean, look, the last, couple of years in comedy have been pretty wild. People are getting canceled for jokes, and everyone's, wants to fight about everything on Twitter. I was like, can I just do a job that's not going to get anyone in trouble? I feel like at this point in society, the one thing we do all agree on is that Friends was a good show.
Yeah.
And I was just like, let's just, in nostalgia, I think we're all kind of just like going like, remember the good old days in the 90s when our president would just like sleep with the intern? Remember what,
exactly.
sort of like, the good old days? I mean, this year has been so hectic. Literally halfway through the year, we were like, should the Menendez brothers go free?
I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna be released.
We were like, we miss those guys. So I just am always looking for, some kind of job that is very neutral, doesn't involve politics, is just like good, clean, wholesome fun. And honestly, I took the job because I have a son now, and I need him to be able to watch something I've done in my career, and this might be the only thing.
Yeah, we have difficulty with that too. After podcasting and doing radio and being filthy for years and years, it's hard to share that stuff with your child.
So, Whitney, I'm curious because obviously, you need to know Friends trivia to be doing well with this show.
Yeah, are you a mega fan?
But then also there's obstacles involved and the set.
It's like Double Dare.
You're going through Joey's house.
Oh, there's a physical aspect.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like Double Dare.
Yes, Double Dare was one of my favorite shows growing up, just watching people put themselves through total stress for no reason. It's like every relationship I've ever had. And it is that. It's basically like the best parts of Amazing Race, the best parts of Double Dare, the best parts of a Jeopardy show, a trivia show. And you can actually play along while you're watching. Everyone that's seen sneak peeks of it with me gets so invested right away, and it's like, oh, I know how to finish that quote. I know what he said.
This is a genius idea.
Well, I mean, it's
such a genius.
It's one of those things. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but is it one of those things that seemingly came out of we would start to see Friends Lego set, and then you'd start to see...
It made a resurgence.
Then you'd start to see Friends Tour, where they take you around and they take you to all the sets and everything, and I bet you some producer, somebody sitting there looking at this and why don't we just do a gigantic mega version of this? And is there, maybe you can't say this, are we going to get any cameos that are going to blow our minds?
There are some pretty cool cameos already that I am not allowed to talk about,
figured,
but you're exactly right. I mean, I knew that when I went into Urban Outfitters when I was on the road and I saw, Friends shirts for 18-year-olds. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's this new generation.
It got on Netflix.
There's very few things on TV that I think 3 generations can watch, where everyone can just sit down. Your grandma, your grandpa, your kids, you can all sit in front of a TV together after Thanksgiving, after a holiday, and not be in a dogfight afterwards. I'm like, what can we all just sit around and watch and not end in a fight at the end where someone's yelling that the earth is flat and someone is saying that, it isn't. So to me, I was just like, I want to be part of something.
Yeah, I want to fight about if they were on a break or not.
Yes.
What should you want a break? Let's fight about that of all the things, So I just, and I think that, it's something that really is unifies people. And at a time where everything seems to divide people, I was like, I really want to be a part of this, and
just do something
it is,
fun.
You're exactly right. The same with theme parks, with, Lego and Mario Brothers, the Friends has really, transcended into this, as someone that makes multicams. I did Two Broke Girls. I worked on Roseanne. I love multicams. And a lot of times Hollywood doesn't. even though America and the world does, Hollywood has this elitist nonsense about not, Big Bang Theory, all these shows that do really well, sometimes Hollywood shuns. So I love, being a part of this, celebrating the multicam tradition that was really started by, comedians. And it's all about making people laugh, whereas a lot of TV shows now in Hollywood are trying to lecture people how to vote, how to live, how they should behave. And Friends never did that, and this show would never do that. So I really want to be a part of it.
I love it. That's awesome.
There's not many controversies with Friends, but the only thing that didn't age well was Ross's pet monkey.
Yeah.
I feel like you shouldn't have had that pet monkey in an apartment in New York, Ross. That's
Well, they had multitude. They had a duck. Didn't they? Remember
They
the
did
duck?
have a duck,
They had
yeah.
a duck.
Yeah, but ducks are fine. The monkey is too close to humans, and people are like,
He
you
was
shouldn't have the
treated
monkey.
well.
And then the
Did you just watch Chimp Nation or something?
Chimp
Oh,
Crazy.
yeah. Chimp Crazy, yeah.
Is that, okay.
I watched
But
that.
by the way, hold on. You're in Florida. Most people in Florida have chimps in their house.
Yeah.
Well, we don't.
We got
have
one in the
them.
studio.
I will tell you, we don't have them, but everybody in this studio knows at least one person that has a pet squirrel. Seriously, like that's
Or
a Florida.
iguana.
That's a Florida thing, 100%.
Raccoon.
And we did a lot of the little macaque monkeys, or the little ones, and that's the ones that I feel like are the ones that won't rip your genitals off or rip your face off and stuff. It's the bigger ones that'll actually kill you.
The fact that you know that is already a problem.
It's in the show.
You shouldn't even.
It's in the
You
Chimp.
shouldn't even know that.
Yeah, it's in the Chimp Crazy show. How are you? Are you still loving podcasting? Are you still enjoying that? How long have you been doing it now?
I've been doing it, I don't know, maybe since right when the pandemic started, when we all started going crazy and just started talking into cameras and microphones 10 hours a day. I think, you guys know this more than anyone. I think that everyone's attention spans change. What people want from podcasting changes. I think during the pandemic, we were all just sitting around talking about our, depression, eating edibles, just being maniacs. And then we went back in the office, and all of a sudden I was like, okay, we don't want 3-hour podcasts. Keep it 45 minutes. And this election year comes along, and it's like, I don't really like to weigh in on politics. I like to stay a comedian where people never think I'm going to, preach to them about stuff. So I think this was the first year of podcasting where I was like, oh, this is frustrating because I don't want to weigh in on politics, but that's like kind of what everybody's talking about. But I want to stay, someone that every fan and audience member can know I'm going to go to her show and I'm not going to have to hear about politics.
Yeah.
So this has been a year where I really feel like I've had to bite my tongue, which podcasting was the opposite of that for so long. But I'm just trying to go with the flow and go like, you know what, some years it's going to be more fun than others, depending, Tim Dillon, Joe Rogan, those guys talk about politics. They're great at it. But I'm excited that the election's over so we can just get back to like joking about other things like women having nervous breakdowns on airplanes and, you know, all the other stuff.
The normal stuff that we all have to deal
Just
with.
the normal
The aliens.
Get back to
Exactly.
can we get back to aliens?
Yeah, just
already,
had a congressional
you know?
hearing.
So Whitney,
But I do love podcasting, but I love stand-up. I love touring, and that's, my main thing. We do the podcasting just to stay sort of connected and to work out, hash out bits so that when we tour, we're like, okay, we got this thing cracking.
Whitney, I saw on your social media that you recently visited a NASCAR race and you were able to, you got invited to wave the green flag.
Yeah, man, the go flag, that's a big deal.
And I'm curious to how that happened. How did, you hear, when you got invited to that, how'd you feel? I imagine you're not a huge NASCAR fan, or are you?
How dare you?
I know. This guy's assuming a lot.
Stereotype. I was a stereotype.
Okay, you didn't Google me hard enough. I am white trash Asperger's. There's nothing better than a NASCAR race for someone with my brain. I grew up, my uncle is, from Texas. He works at Texas Instruments, used to build cars. We used to watch NASCAR. I love it. There's something so stressful about it and so soothing at the same time. But my favorite part of it has always been the pit crew, just watching the way that they work. I mean, I live in Los Angeles, so seeing men actually be useful and good at something is very rare for me.
Exactly.
So I watch NASCAR to be like, oh, that's what a man looks like.
This is
just to be
hilarious to
reminded.
me that Tom 100% would have bet money that you knew nothing about
I
NASCAR.
would too.
Hold on, ask ChatGPT. Does Whitney Cummings like
Are you
NASCAR?
saying she's lying?
No, I'm just saying. If ChatGPT doesn't know, then I'm off the hook because
Okay.
By the way, I mean, all the other stereotypes are true. I'm bad at driving, all
Okay.
that, all work. But no, I love NASCAR. I've always wanted to,
So you've been in
wave
that
the
world.
flag. And I had asked like Hollywood publicists. I'm like, because they're like, what do you want to do? You want to do Letterman? Do you want to do Leno? I was like, can I go to NASCAR? And it never happened. And then I hired this new manager recently, and they were like, okay, what are your goals? Do you want to host the Oscars? Do you want to host the Emmys? And I just was like, I want to wave the flag at NASCAR. That's my
awesome.
big career. I know. And they were like,
and ChatGPT
we
knew.
can make
Like,
that happen.
I'm going to read this straight from Chat.
Tom.
Actually, you know what? I'll let ChatGPT read it to you. Here, we'll have ChatGPT
Oh.
read this as our final parting gift to
they're going
Whitney.
to say she
Whitney
doesn't
Cummings,
like
a renowned
NASCAR, but she
comedian.
likes being rear-ended.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go.
Enthusiasm about her involvement with NASCAR. In November 2024, she served as the honorary starter for the NASCAR Cup
Oh,
Series
he's too slow. But he basically
God.
says, what's more exhilarating than watching a NASCAR race up close and personal? It has quotes from you, and it says that you are a big-time NASCAR fan.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, it's written in the
I
stars
think
now.
I also think that it's like it's because I overshare so much about every part of my life. Like it's people are like, wait, we don't know something about you. It's also just like I'm such a blabbermouth and talk about like my personal intimate details of my life. Like so I think when someone finds out I have a hobby that they don't know about, they're like, well, we would have heard about this.
Have you
But
been in a
I,
car?
yeah.
Have you driven one? Have you been in one? We have.
Okay, I'm not stupid. I'm a fan, but I'm not an idiot. I am terrified of those cars. I did get a little tour this weekend in Phoenix, and they showed it to me. I got to sit like up in where the pit crew is, and where they're I just put a video out on my Instagram about it. It is so thrilling. Also, I can't do drugs or drink anymore, and there is nothing more fun. It is the level of adrenaline, like, because that's my main drug. I realize is the adrenaline.
Yeah.
And comics, like people say to us, like, oh, I can never do what you do, going up on stage. Like when I look at these drivers, they're the ones that I'm like, it's such awe of. And the adrenaline and just being there, it's like when you have this much ADD and OCD, what it takes to be in the present moment is like 20 muscle cars going at 200 miles an hour, almost catching on fire.
Yeah.
Like I was in heaven. And NASCAR fans also, like, when you're a comedian or performer, crowds are what you care. Like, look, I lived in Philly for a while. Eagles fans. I'm dating an Eagles fan. The fans can be tough.
Yes.
I love the NASCAR fans are the most fun people. They're just such a good time. Like we just had the best. No one is talking to each other. No one's talking about politics because no one can hear each other. It's like the best sport because like no one's making small talk. It's just like everyone's gone deaf and is just having the best time appreciating.
This is what we learned.
Yeah.
We learned something today.
Well, no one's talking about politics because they all agree.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
yeah, we know how they voted.
Yeah, there's no fight. They're like, oh, look. They look around. They're like, all right,
But a lot of thumbs
a
up.
lot of like-minded people.
Yeah.
Whitney, thanks so much.
Things are pretty great again in here.
Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us again. Whitney's going to be at Hard Rock Live. Get your tickets November 15th. That's Friday.
Yeah, and then Saturday, November 16th at the Florida Theater in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. Whitney, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. And I think I'm coming to Daytona, too.
Oh,
so-
no way.
awesome.
Oh, well, I was born right up the street
You
got to
go to the
Oh,
racetrack.
well, let us take you to the strip club when you come to town.
Well, here's the easiest way to get tickets. Go to WhitneyCummings.com,
Boom.
and you can get tickets to every show in Florida
Yep.
that she has.
Grab some seats.
Can't wait. All right, see y'all soon.
Take care.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
That is Whitney Cummings live.